So yesterday, the first reactions to Black Widow came out. How were they? Well, I'll tell you them all here. I'll tell you the positive one. I'll give you a lot of positive ones. I'll give you some negative ones, and overall, I'll just tell you them so you can have an idea of what to expect from this movie. But before that, hi, hope you're having a great day. You're watching JVG Entertainment. Please make sure to like and subscribe because if not, the TVA will come and get you. So definitely make sure to like and subscribe. And also leave a comment on what's your high level for this movie. If you've been waiting for it since like me, since like Iron Man 2, or if you've been like, okay, whatever, like just tell me where your hype level is for this movie. But yeah, without any more to do, let's get started. So, I want to start with this first reaction from Perry Nemiroff. I probably said that wrong, but picture will be up here. And that's what I said. Doug Black Widow a good deal. Was kinda worried about watching the story unfold, knowing what's to come in Endgame. That it might diminish the stakes, but that wasn't the case. In fact, this is kind of a prequel story that feels too bound to enhance other installments of the MCU. So clearly we see that her dying in Endgame wasn't a problem. In fact, it kind of feels more like it made other MCU installments better. Probably, if I had to guess, Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame, since it takes place between those movies. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to hear that. Now let's move on to another review from Andrew J. Salazar. This is what they said. Shocked by how much I enjoy Black Widow. Nowhere near as weak as you might think. It's definitely rough around the edges, but the cast really sold me. Pugh and Harville MVPs. The use of Taskmaster also surprised me. And then another thing that he said is, I would put the movie somewhere in the upper half of mid-tier MCU. The third act is a little too big for its own good, and some spotty CGI throughout doesn't do any favors. Twitter is also going to have a field day poking fun at some of the film's more peculiar choices. So we see that this one is like a little bit less positive than the other one, but we still see that they said the movie was good. It just has some problems, which makes sense. Not every movie is perfect, and it kind of sounds like the problem for him was the third act and a couple choices that obviously he doesn't want to spoil because you can't really spoilers. So let's move on to some other first reactions, and this one comes from Kevin McCarthy. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but yeah, this is what it said. I saw Black Widow last night, and I'm happy to say that it's incredibly fun and deeply emotional. Action feels Winter Soldier level, which is pretty good. Pugh, Johnson, and Weiss and Harbour, I'm sorry I'm pronouncing them, are outstanding together. Balances a tone that is dark, grounded, raw, and real. Even after Endgame, you feel the stakes. Okay, so here once again we see that Endgame wasn't a problem for this movie, and something that really got me an eye is that they said the action feels like Winter Soldier level. Winter Soldier is probably some of the best action we've had in the MCU, if not the best. So for them to say that, I'm really hyped for this movie. Also, great to see that the cast is pretty good together. And one thing that I do want to point out also is that they said that the tone is pretty dark and pretty real, which is something that we don't get a lot from the MCU now. I guess we got a little bit with Falcon and Soldier-ish. So I'm happy to keep going that way. I really like the Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, and then Falcon Winter Soldier. Then this, I kind of like that vibe. So I'm happy to say that this movie will have that tone. Now let's move on to the next reaction. I'm sorry for my finger. And that's what it said. This comes from Jeremiah. That's what it said. Although Black Widow feels very much like MCU films of the past with its Marvel patent tone and lackluster villain, it bolstered by well-directed action and great leading performances from Johnson and Pugh, whose chemistry is the highlight. And then he said review coming in later or something else. But this gives me hope. This isn't the most positive review out there. It literally says that it's like in past MCU films with its Marvel patent tone and lackluster villain. So you can basically saying that Taskmaster isn't that good and the tone isn't that great, but they did say that it's very well directed with the great action. So I'm really happy for the action sequences. That's 2 reviews in a row that say that the action sequences are great. And then it says like great leading performances from Johnson and Pugh. So that gets me really hyped up because it's literally saying that the performances are good. That's also another review because the past ones also said the same thing. So I'm pretty hyped for that. Clearly, we're not saying that it is not like the best thing to come out, but it's still pretty good. Okay, let's move on to Humberto Gonzalez, and that's what they said. More movies are back, and Phase 4 gives off a very entertaining and action-packed Black Widow, giving us a long overdue look at Natasha's backstory with solid performances throughout and thrilling set pieces that demand you to see this movie on the biggest screen possible. So, clearly this is a very positive review. They were obviously very happy to see Black Widow get their own movie when it says giving us a long overdue look, which is definitely true. We should have gotten this movie a long time ago. And they said solid performances throughout with thrilling set pieces. So, once again, action and performances mentioned that are great. And that says that the movie demands you to see it on the biggest screen possible. So I guess if you want to go to theaters, and if you face it safe on theaters, then go check it out in theaters. Okay, next thing, and this comes from Grace Randolph. And this is what she said. Wait, give me a sec. This is what she said. I've seen Black Widow. A Marvel star is born with Florence Pugh's Jelena Belova. A lot of talking, but the action scenes are excellent. Very raw movie, especially the first 2/3. So, here we see that pretty positive reviews. That there is a lot of talking, which is kind of not what I expected according to other reviews, but there's a lot of talking, which I like. I mean, I'm enjoying Loki, which doesn't have a lot of action. It's actually a lot of talking, and I'm really enjoying Loki, so this doesn't make my hopes go low or anything. So hopefully, I really hope it's good. Florence Pugh apparently is really good in this movie. Everybody keeps mentioning her. I'm really excited to see her. In case you don't know who that is, that's the sister of Black Widow. So I'm very excited to see her. Christian also said that it's a smaller MCU movie, but definitely feels movie worthy. Reviews are also on the small side. Get excited about saying goodbye to Nat and hello to Jelena, and that's pretty good. I mean, it's like small, I guess, but they said it was still movie worthy, so I don't know exactly what that means yet, since we barely started that phase of the MCU. But guess we'll find out whenever we see the movie. Next thing is by Courtney Howard, and that's what they said. Black Widow is excellent, an exhilarating shot of adrenaline. Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh nailed the banter like ballet-like stunts. David Harbour is absolutely terrific. Big action set pieces are thrilling, propulsive, and capably constructed. Multi-layered thematic resonance. So, very positive review. Apparently this movie has great action sequences, and once again, great performances. So we're starting to see that Common Dean keep going through reviews. And this person really liked that movie. I am very excited because they really sound like they really, really like that movie. So, yay. Let's move on to somebody else called Eric Davis. That's what he said. More movies are back. Black Widow is a tense, action-packed spy thriller that truly completes Natasha's story in a visceral and emotional way. Florence Pugh crushes it and is an instant MCU icon. This is like MCU's Bond with shades of Mission Impossible and Thelma and Lucy. Lois. My bad. I mispronounced it. So that gets me really hyped up. I love Mission Impossible movies, and the fact that it's a spy thriller and action-packed and everything, it just sounds really good. I'm really excited for this movie, and this first reaction gets me more excited. Let's keep going on with somebody called Lando, probably from Star Wars. I don't know. And so I said, Black Widow pays a beautiful and long overdue tribute to Natasha Romanoff. It's also a spy thriller fans of the character have been asking for all these years. It's funny, it's thrilling, and very emotional. Florence Pugh is fantastic as Jelena Belova, who is definitely here to stay. So once again, Jelena Belova is pretty good in this movie. And let's go. They're finally going to pay tribute to Natasha. I was kind of sad that they didn't even give her a funeral in Endgame. I get that it would run the pacing, but it was like, oh, really? She was like one of the most important ones. And for them to say that they played tribute to her in this movie is awesome. Let's go on to another one called by Jacob. Jacob said, Black Widow was better than I thought it would be. Although there was some excellent action, what put me was the really powerful themes and character moments the film presented. Easily Scarlett's best performance as Nat, and Florence Pugh is brilliant as Jelena. So once again, performance is mentioned, and this caught my attention. They said that the action sequences were great, but what really got them was the powerful themes and character moments. And I'm really looking forward to these character moments. You can kind of see them in the trailer whenever Black Widow's crying and sister's crying. So I really just want to keep seeing those character moments. So I'm really hoping to see really good character moments. This comes from BD, or Brandon Davis BD. So this is what they said. Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh are brilliant as Natasha Romanoff and Jelena Belova, especially when they're together in Black Widow. Epic spy thriller. The relationship is so fun to watch and develop, and it fits into the MCU's history really well. You're gonna feel things. So once again, they're saying that this movie is emotional, and I'm really happy to hear that this movie has emotion. Another review by Han Maker said, honestly, blown away by Black Widow. It's low-key one of Marvel's finest and emotional. It's lucky one of Marvel's finest. An emotional story with great performances and high stakes. Chased through Russian Jesse Penny that might be one of the zaniest and most bad action scenes in MCU history. Fans are going to love it. So, once again, this sounds really exciting. They sound like they really had a blast with the movie, which I really like. If they had a blast with the movie, then great. Then here's another one by BD also. They said Black Widow director Kate Shortland and the writing team made a movie with Marvel Studios like action. Wait, my bad. I can't read that. Wait, Winter Soldier like action. There you go. Winter Soldier like actions, grit infused with emotional and heart. With emotion and heart. There are visceral moments and solid humor and surprising twists, especially for big MCU fans. More, please. So clearly, once again, very good reviews, very good first reactions, great action sequences, and it gets me really excited that they mentioned that it's like Falcon and Winter Soldier, like Captain America Winter Soldier, because I love the action sequences there, and it gets me so excited that it says that it's confirmed to that. That's just a high level. Next one is by Hector Navarro. I got to see Black Widow last night, and as someone who has been waiting since 2010 to see Natasha Romanoff get her own movie, it was well worth the wait. So this gets me really hyped up for this movie again. I really have been waiting for this movie a lot, so thank God that this movie's good. Then Scarlett Mansell did not have very positive things to say, as he said. As someone who enjoys the action mixed with laughs, I found the humor in Black Widow to be so off-putting. The jokes as a whole felt lazy, dated, and out of place. Some were actually cringeworthy. Don't get me started about the goofy Russian accents and the film's lackluster villain. So here we see that they didn't like the humor and they didn't like the villain. He also said that Black Widow is so disappointing. Scarlett Johansson tries, but the script, pacing, and poor character development sink the film. Starts off promising, but by the second act becomes a disjointed and uneven mess. Generic, uninspired, and ultimately lacking the Marvel magic. Black Widow. So he didn't think of this movie very good. He didn't like what they did with the movie. So here we go. This movie's not perfect. So it really is different opinions. But yeah, I'll give you a couple more. Love Black Widow for very unexpected reasons. Yes, it's wall-to-wall action, and Kate Shortland approaches Russo brother levels and physicality and intensity. But this movie's heart and display of broken family hit me hard. Very much appreciated this deeper dive to Natasha. Also, he said, as someone who went into Black Widow worrying it might feel like a placeholder following Nat's fate in Endgame, it was a joy to watch that concern away. This is a fantastic chapter in the MCU, packed with a post-racing action, genuine stakes, and a knockout end credit scenes. So, credit scenes are pretty good. So happy that there is emotion for Nat. I'm very happy for her. She's one of my favorite characters in the MCU. So happy to see that they treated her truly well. Well, that will be for this first reactions, first thoughts video. Hope you got a better idea what to expect in this week, or according to all these reactions, and hopefully it made you more hyped up, or it just gave. I hope it made you more hyped up. I'm definitely more hyped up after seeing this. So yeah, leaving me in the comments if this got you more hyped up. If it was like, okay, I already expected this, or just leave me in the comments what you think of all these first reactions, or what you want from this movie. Also, like I said, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps. And if you enjoyed the video and if you found this video informative, please leave a like. Also, feel free to check out more content. Like I just made a video about Loki and about the girl at the end Lady Loki or Enchantress. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. Link will be in the corner. I also made a video on why is Peggy and Loki from the last episode. So if you're also interested in checking that out, link will be in the corner. And yeah, that'll be it. Hope you keep having a great rest of your day. This is Jerry Entertainment. Out.